Welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher along with BNEWS producer Sydney Bowles, BNEWS reporter Robert Parris, Anthony Matos with sports, Marge Jetwin with senior news, Peter Brown with the weather, Gretchen Carey with the community calendar, and Evan McNamee is our director today. Thank you for joining us. Burlington celebrated a major milestone this week, 225 years as an incorporated community. Sydney Bowles has more.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Burlington. Happy birthday to you.
It was a who's who of Burlington's best, brightest, and most enthusiastic at the 225th Birthday Bash, celebrated on February 28th at the historic Grandview Farm.
The people are coming in and they're all signing that birthday card that we'll keep for a long time. And then they go into the barn and have a great big piece of birthday cake and meet all their friends. And this is a wonderful time.
Happy birthday, Burlington!
Town Clerk Amy Warfield was the mastermind behind the event of the quarter century.
Well, basically, we just wanted to have a celebration. We wanted to invite the town residents in to have some cake, just to meet and greet each other. A lot of times people said, well, what's 225, you know? We did the 200, we'll do 250. But it's just kind of like to measure time and to be glad to see people and that type of stuff.
Oh, my goodness, we got 50 or 60 of these cards that the local third graders put together for us. Let me just read a couple for you. I don't know if you can see it on your camera here as well. But they all say Burlington is 225 years old today. And my favorite thing about this town is this one. My favorite part about Burlington is the Christmas events in the town common.
Also going on was a contest to pick an I-voted sticker designed by Burlington students.
We got over 100 submissions, and it was really hard to, the kids are just talented, they're enthusiastic. It's really hard to come down. We said 5, but we came down with 7.
The winning sticker will be available at upcoming elections this year. The event was a chance to wax lyrical about the town and to think about what Burlingtonians of the future might think looking back on 2024.
Transitioning from farm community to a business community to a high-tech industry, and now we're into biotechnology. Where are we going to be in 25 years? Who knows? But we are definitely in transition.
Burlington was a town, they're going to say, that met its challenges, that didn't back down and that was not afraid of the work that had to be done.
Well, I want to tell Burlington, first of all, happy birthday, and well done. You did it for 225 years, and that's pretty amazing. And not only have you done it, but you just keep getting better and better.
Happy birthday, Burlington.
Happy birthday, Burlington.
Happy birthday, Burlington.
Happy birthday, Burlington.
Happy birthday, Burlington. For 225 years, the best place to live in the world.
Happy birthday, Burlington. From Grandview Farm, I'm Sydney Bowles.
We've been hearing for several months that town officials are worried about vacancies in Burlington's office spaces. It's a function of more people working from home after the COVID-19 pandemic. This week, we learned about one more consequence of the decline in office space utilization: rising water and sewer rates. DPW Superintendent Brian White said that because of a decline in revenue from commercial use, residents will see water bills rise 9.8% annually for the next 3 years, and sewer bills rise a corresponding 6.8% in the same period. Here's Brian White.
The 9.8% recommendation is not because of additional costs per se. It's largely due to a lack of revenues. Essentially, we were hoping to get $3.2 million of additional revenue. We're on pace to only get $2.2, $1 million short of what we were expecting.
It's been a year of significant change for Burlington water customers. The town completed a major connection to the MWRA, meaning we now buy water from the state agency, and we also installed a PFAS filtration system to clear up pollution in Mill Pond, which cost us $15 million. Town Administrator Paul Sagarino said those new connections raised some questions about expenses for the DPW.
The treatment of the PFAS, which is brand new here to the town. We don't have a good sense of what the ultimate cost will be to treat for the PFAS treatment. We do know how much the resin cost the first time. We don't know how long it's going to last or how much mileage we're going to get out of it. And in the meantime, because of PFAS, the town's been using a lot more MWRA water earlier in the process than we anticipated when we proposed the plan, 5-6 years ago.
But speaking on BCAT's monthly town administrator update show this week, Sagarino said water rates remain low for the region.
The percentages sound really intimidating, but for about 45% of the residential customers, that's about $18 total on water and sewer on an annual basis. Another big chunk of users, which is our average user of about 60,000 gallons per year, which is actually low compared to other communities. Usually, the benchmark is usually about 90,000. So, we're doing pretty good residentially on conservation, but, there'll be about $33 on an annual basis, and I think it's really important to show the context of, of the 60 communities in eastern Massachusetts, we're in the bottom 4. There's very few communities that offer a cheaper water sewer.
Another note for water and sewer customers in town, Burlington this year will begin billing quarterly instead of semi-annually to help customers pay more attention to their usage. The Burlington High School Building Committee has selected the design firm to shape the new facility. Tappe Architects is a Boston-based design firm with more than 250 municipal and institutional projects under their belt, including one right here in Burlington. Tappe was the designer on the Marshall Simons Middle School project. No decisions have been made about the future of the high school, but Tappe said it could consider building an entirely new school in the 5-acre field north of the current site, or tearing down one wing to add on to a new one. The building committee has also created a website to help residents follow along. This is bhsbuildingproject.com. Speaking of upgrading our school buildings, the committee in charge of the Fox Hill project is making significant headway in designing the details of that new school. Here's Vivian Lowe of Denisco Designs.
Again, really not exciting, but we're looking at toilet rooms and how those lay out, really important for the use of this building. But also we're starting to look at designing the library, the media center a little bit, and how that relates to the STEM, the science, technology, engineering space, and then we're going to be looking at refining the space outside of that area as well. So there's more to come, but we wanted to show you that the spaces now have walls and doors, which is really kind of huge because we're just looking at blocks earlier, right? So this is all good, and we're going to continue to share our progress with you.
Outside the building, designers are considering options for sports fields and outdoor learning sites and natural barriers to keep sports equipment out of wetlands and vernal pools. As they've done for the past 15 years or so, the Burlington School Committee approved limited school choice, the mechanism that allows some students from out of the district to attend Burlington Public Schools. Under state regulations, districts have to opt out if they don't want any students from other communities to be able to come to their schools. Many districts opt out entirely, but Burlington opts out in grades K through 8 and allowed 10 out of district students in grade 9 and 5 out of district students in grades 10, 11, and 12. State dollars from school choice reimbursements go into a revolving fund, which the school committee can spend at their discretion, usually for some small spends that might pop up during the year, like a bus to take a club to some events. We return now to the loss to the community we mentioned to you briefly last week. Richard J. Kelly passed away at the age of 90 on February 22nd. A prodigious builder and developer, he was responsible for many residential and commercial properties in town, including the posh Lash building at 99 Cambridge Street, Colonial Park Villa, and Hillside Plaza. He was also a strong philanthropist. Along with developer Bob Murray, he built the Murray Kelly Wing on the Senior Center, and they both dedicated the project to their mothers. According to a profile in Burlington Retro, Kelly was born into poverty in Woburn in 1933, and even from his earliest jobs as a preteen, he was a very hard worker. He started his first company, Tilecraft of New England, and got a job redoing the floor at the old town hall. And at just 27 years old, he began building commercial properties, investing heavily in the Mall Road area. By 2020, his company owned and managed about 3.5 million square feet of office, retail, and industrial space across 4 states. Kelly was remembered across the community for the mark he left on this town. Let's watch a moment of silence from the Select Board meeting led by Joe Morandi.
If I could just keep you standing up for one more second, I'd like to give a moment of silence to a guy named Richard Kelly. He passed away just the other day. He was instrumental in this town. From the Murray Kelly wing over there, he helped build that building. He started picking corn at Crawford's Farm here in Burlington. He grew up in this town, and now his family owns almost 90% of the Mall Road. Family's been very dedicated to this town, giving back. So I'd like to have a moment of silence for Mr. Kelly, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You can read more about Richard Kelly in a wonderful piece on burlingtonretro.org entitled you can search for Building from Nothing. 2 new firefighters have been appointed to the Burlington Fire Department. Connor Haddad currently works for a private ambulance company. He's a Burlington resident, grew up in town, and always planned to become a local firefighter. And Jared Seveny also comes from a private ambulance company where he worked as a paramedic. He holds certifications in advanced life support, pediatric advanced life support, and CPR. The Select Board unanimously approved both appointments. We all know what happens when it rains a lot in a short amount of time, flooding in our streets and in our basements. Burlington Conservation Commission is offering residents a way to pitch in and reduce flooding by rain barrels. Hook one up to your roof or your gutter system, and a 500 square foot roof can fill a 50-gallon barrel in an hour. That barrel of free rainwater can water a 2 square foot garden, saving as much as 1,300 gallons of water annually. Good amount considering the rise in water rates. Burlington is offering discounted rain barrels through the Great American Rain Barrel Program. To see about getting one yourself, visit greatamericanrainbarrel.com/community and select Burlington. Our crack staff has that up on the screen for you. This weekend, Burlington's Academy of Creative Arts is hosting a storytelling event called Voices 2024. Storytelling from South Asian immigrants. Robert Paris has this story.
South Asian immigrants will let their stories be heard at the Academy of Creative Arts on the weekend of March 2nd in a storytelling show called Voices.
It's put on by an experimental theater company called Of Kendrick that does street theater in Bengali, which is a part of India that we're from, Calcutta, West Bengal. And in 2016, the artistic director, Shankar Bhumik, decided to create this one arm where we would share stories of people who were South Asian immigrants to share their experiences so that we could expand our understanding of the immigrant experience.
A variety of topics will be discussed by cast members who are from India, Pakistan, Tibet, and Sri Lanka.
So we pick and choose which story will be on, then we help the tellers craft their stories, but everything has a slightly different perspective. So it's like, when you listen to stories on the Moth or stories from the stage or suitcase stories, some of those popular shows, you hear everyday experiences. This is just that, only sometimes you get the perspective of an immigrant. A lot of the stories have to do with, I'm not from here, and I'm trying to figure it out.
So after 5 days of such intense training, I was deemed fit to tackle everything American.
The cast does prepare with Chandri and has a full rehearsal before the big night.
So we help them write out their story. We help them look inside their hearts to figure out what they're trying to say, to craft their message.
Everyone who's participating in the show is telling true stories about different encounters and situations that happen in their lives.
They have crafted it, they've rehearsed it, but it's them being their own true vulnerable self and sharing of themselves, which always makes for most of the audience ends up being moved in some way. They may not think, wow, that was the best story I've heard, but they almost always are feeling touched because, well, you often don't know what's going on in someone else's life.
For tickets and more info, go to offkendrick.com/voices. I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Weekly.
Have you ever heard a deer thump like that?
95-year-old resident Tibor Weinzierl is an accomplished singer and violinist with an incredible story of immigration, dedication, and artistry. He shared his story in a new book, From Hungary with Love, The Immigrant, and he told BNews about his journey. Sidney Bowles has more.
1929, February the 2nd, that was a very cold and windy night, 15 below zero. A small riding coach with 2 strong horses pulled through the deep snow, speeding to the nearest and closest hospital to save a pregnant woman.
That's the beginning of a book called From Hungary with Love, written by Burlington resident Tibor Weinzierl.
Weinzierl is an Austrian-Hungarian name, but I'm born in Hungary, in Budapest, 1929, February the 2nd. And right now I'm 95 years old, and I came from Hungary for the free world.
The book follows Tibor's journey as a singer and a violinist, winning accolades in Hungary before escaping Russia's invasion and fleeing to Canada.
My American life starts in Canada, in Montreal, and I started working there, everything, the lowest jobs like cleaning toilets.
It wasn't always glamorous, but Tibor kept playing music, and he got noticed on a second continent.
That was a very unique number, what I was doing, singing 5 different languages and playing virtuoso violin.
Eventually, he was discovered by Edith Bahn, the owner of the famous Café Budapest in Boston, and so, in 1970, he began his life as a performer in the United States. Tibor was inspired to write the book by his wife, Doreen.
She always mentioned that, Tibor, people was always asking you, why you didn't write a book about your life? Because this kind of a life, what you went through, is no other people went through like this.
Family friend Robert Marcus helped him write the book.
He's a living proof of what can be accomplished in life if you just hold your goals to be, I want to help people, I want to enjoy life, and I can overcome any obstacle.
Don't get afraid in the life, when the life going bad. You have to always thinking about the next day, I will do this, I will do that. So when the wheel is going down, the wheel has to come up.
From Hungary with Love is available on Amazon.com. For BNews Weekly, I'm Sidney Bowles.
Marge Yetman runs Burlington Council on Aging, and every month she stops by BCAT to talk about upcoming events at the Senior Center. This month she shared about an upcoming political forum to help seniors learn about local candidates for office.
Candidates Afternoon, historically, now mind you, it was in place before I came on board, many, many moons ago, is a way for seniors to find out and ask questions about topics and issues that are important to them. I see it as a way to talk about housing and transportation and anything that's kind of senior related, but it doesn't tend to stay that way.
The political afternoon is scheduled for 1 p.m. on March 26 at the Burlington Council on Aging. Another big week for BHS sports as winter athletes approach the end of their season. Let's turn to Anthony Matos for the latest.
Hey everyone, I'm Anthony Matos in this weekly sports report. Playoffs. We are talking about playoffs. That's right, they're here. Girls ice hockey hosted Medway High in the first round of the MIAA playoffs. For more, we go to the highlights.
The first round of the playoffs took place on February 28th as Lady Devils hockey did battle at Medway High School. In the first period, Chloe Rabazzi scored the first goal for the Devils, 1-0. The score stayed the same until the third period when Medway was able to tie it. Caitlin Tremblay had a hat trick for the Devils in the third period, while Sophia Cleary added 1 goal, with a final of 5-1 Burlington. We spoke with Caitlin Tremblay and head coach Rick Sheehan after the game.
Well, I think as the period goes on, we pick up the intensity. We skate a little harder. I think their team tie it out a little bit in the second, and they definitely tie it out in the third.
They were a good team. They're 30 seed, but you can't take anyone for granted. Like, they play all the D1 teams, top 10, so we just came out with the mindset they're just going to play hard no matter what seed. I was thinking, like, I had some good assists. I was just kind of hoping to play for the team, and it's 3 happened. I got one left in 30 seconds, so.
Burlington moves on to the Sweet 16 and will either host Plymouth South or Beverly on March 2nd at the Burlington Ice Palace.
Boys ice hockey travels down to the Canton Ice House for a playoff meeting with Hingham. Updates on that game next week. Boys basketball will be competing with Whitman-Hanson Regional High School in the round of 32 of the MIAA playoffs at home on March 1st. Updates next week. Girls varsity gymnastics competed with 11 other schools in the MIAA sectionals tournament on February 24th, finishing in 6th place out of 12 and scoring 138.72. Burlington did not secure a spot in the state championship meet this year, now closing out the season. Kelsey Condon, Alex Fowler, Jillian Gillis, Camila Paleo, Caroline Russo, Ava Shank-Davis, and Rachel Swaney are the seniors departing. The girls and boys track teams with the MIAA Meet of Champions on the weekend of February 24th at the Regis Lewis Center. A number of athletes competed for both teams, including Hope Hannafin, Charlize Collins, Ryan Brooks, Krish Almeida, Julian Saka, Colin Irwin, Alex Murray, Kevin Conti, and Dylan Giles. Hannafin came in 17th place at 139 in the 600, and Collins placed 9th in the long jump at 17 foot 1 inch. As for the boys, Irwin came in 15th place in the 600 with a time of 125. Brooks came in 12th place in the long jump at 20 foot 8 inches. Saka came in 8th place in the weight throw at 50 foot 2 inches. Conti came in 10th place in the weight throw with 48 inches. The 4x400 relay team finished in 19th place out of 21 with a time of 3:36. To conclude the season, Collins, Laverty, and Lecomte competed in the MSTCA pentathlon, with Collins finishing in 10th place, following by Laverty in 21st and Lecomte in 57th. They also made a pentathlon school record. Congrats, ladies. The boys finished in 2nd place, with Brooks finishing 11th, Charles Desmond in 13th, and Murray in 20th. Congrats on a great season, fellas. For more Devil action, go to bcattv.org/sports and check out our Twitter page at BNEWS Sports. That's all for now. I'm Anthony Matos. Back to you guys in the studio.
Lots of rain in the forecast, but hey, at least it means the temperature's above freezing and hopefully not 30-mile-an-hour winds. Here's Peter Brown with the forecast, and stay tuned for Gretchen Carey with your community calendar.
Welcome everyone, this is Peter Brown with the look at your weather for the next 7 days. Here we are, we have made it to the end of meteorological winter. This Friday, March 1st, marks the beginning of meteorological spring, meaning basically that our atmosphere is going to be turning into more of a spring-like pattern in terms of weather. Now, with the official start of spring, however, as we know, we need to keep our eyes open for any chances of snow, because of course, as we know in prior years, March can be a pretty difficult month in terms of snow sometimes. Sometimes we get more snow in March than we do the entire rest of the winter, so we're going to have to just keep a close eye always on that. Temperatures and precipitation over the next 7 to 10 days. And looking at our temperature map, we have an extremely high likelihood of seeing above average temperatures here in the Northeast, especially in the Burlington area. I'm seeing that as well. Looks like just about every day, in fact, maybe every single day of the period is going to be at or above average. And looking at our precipitation chances, unfortunately, that is going to come with the chance of some rain out there. If I know for all of those of you snow lovers who are really looking forward to a snowy winter this year, it doesn't look like we had it, and it doesn't look like we're going to be seeing any snow in the next 7 to 10 days either. Now, as we go ahead, let's take a look at those 7 days of weather coming up. It's starting to appear again on Friday, starting out the weekend. Going to be sunny out there, a little bit breezy, definitely chillier than what we saw over the past couple of days here in the Burlington area, but highs again in the mid to upper 40s. And then we're going to see that chance of some light spotty rain coming in as a weak system moves to our south and east. Temperatures in the low 50s on Saturday and Sunday with a wind coming in off of the ocean. So if you're going to be near the coast at all, you're going to definitely have to bundle up there, as the water temperatures are just about at their coldest at this time of the year. Now, as we start out the work week, looks like that chance of showers is going to move in just about every single day. And as we get towards the end of the period into Thursday, we're going to see a steadier rain develop as a stronger system approaches us from the west. But look at this, folks. Starting on a Monday, temperatures around 50, and then after that, up into the mid-50s. So definitely not too bad out there. So everyone, get out there, enjoy the weather, and have a great week.
Hi, I'm Amy Poehler, and you're watching BCAT. Go Red Devils!
everyone, I'm Gretchen Carey, and this is your Community Calendar. On March 7th from 4 to 5 p.m., the Burlington Public Library will be having a climate and weather presentation for children in kindergarten through 5th grade. Pre-registration is required. To register, go to the library website. On March 9th at 7 p.m., the Burlington Community Scholarship Foundation will be having trivia night at the Billerica Elks. For more information and tickets, go to bcsfboxoffice.org. Also on March 9th from 12 to 3 p.m., 3rd Avenue will be having live ice sculpting. Watch an ice artist create a beautiful work of art. Everyone is welcome. For more community calendar events, go to bcattv.org, burlingtonpubliclibrary.org, and burlingtonrecreation.org. I'm Gretchen Carey, and that was your Community Calendar.
And that brings us to the end of the program. We would like to share you a photo sent in by a member of the community. Gwen McNamee shared this photo from a trip to Franklin Park Zoo. Now that's a lion with something important to say. Thank you, Gwen. If you have a photo you'd like to see featured here, email it to us at bcat@bcattv.org with the subject line Photo of the Week. That's our program for this week. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, next week, March 5th is Super Tuesday, so head on over to BHS Gymnasium between 7 a.m. and 8 p.m. to cast your vote. I'm Phil Gallagher. This is BNews Weekly. See you next week.